guys, today I'm back to film a tutorial inspired by a makeup look worn by Ashley Benson. Ashley Benson, I think she's probably best known for being on Pretty Little Liars. That's at least what I know her from. Pretty Little Liars and then a couple other things. But anyways, this is the look here, and it's beautiful in my opinion. It's kind of a gold and bronze shadow look with kind of a rosier lip. So mine's just inspired by, it's not an exact, you know, this is what she used and everything. So this is just kind of my rendition of it, but the lip color is really what inspired it all because I've been kind of decluttering and I just had found this lipstick and I'm like, you know, this looks a lot like what she's wearing in that picture. So that's kind of what inspired the whole thing. I decided that since the shadows were kind of gold and bronze, I decided to go ahead and reach for my original Naked palette because this is something that pretty much everybody has, or if you don't, you have similar at least shadows to use. So this is just kind of why I used this because I feel like it's something a lot of people have or have at least dupes for. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the tutorial. I started, this is our inspiration pic. I think I showed this in the intro, or I at least should show it in the intro. But it's Ashley Benson. I just think she has some of the best hair and makeup most of the time, and a lot of times she's kind of one of those actresses I look for inspiration for with even my own hair and makeup. I know I have a couple other pictures of her makeup and stuff saved that I just love and adore, and I'll maybe do another future tutorial with. But today the one we're doing, it's a beautiful kind of rose colored lip, and then the eyes are kind of gold and some bronze colors. So I am going to be digging out the original Naked palette for this, just because it's a palette that a lot of people have and the colors are pretty similar to what she has on. First things first, I'm going to take my Maybelline Color Tattoo, and this is in Barely Branded, and then I'm going to take this Real Techniques, this is the Deluxe Crease Brush, and I love this for applying cream shadow. It just applies them very evenly and kind of smoothly, and you just need a very small amount of product with the brush. I find that I probably need less product with the brush than I do with my fingertip, which is kind of mixed feelings since I am panning this, but it is nice too to know that I'm getting to use the product as much as possible. But you can kind of already see, well, hopefully you can see, it's just very quick, very light. But the reason I'm using this is just because I kind of want to amplify the gold shadows and stuff. And I just feel like cream color bases tend to amplify shadows better than the Urban Decay primer potion and stuff. They do amp it up, but I feel like bases just work better. And I feel like a lot of people seem to feel that same way. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye here really quick. So now that that is on, moving on to eyeshadow. However, I did forget to talk about what I have on my face currently, just because I kind of always do foundation off camera, because I figured it's just kind of a step that you pretty much already kind of know what your favorite foundation is and what you're going to want to use. But I do have on this is the Revlon ColorStay. It's actually in the Urban Decay Naked Skin bottle. Mine's almost gone, so I'm trying to just kind of finish up that last little bit, and then I'll repurchase it, but in the new Revlon ColorStay bottles that do have a pump, which I really like. But I've just been mixing it with the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal. It makes this a tiny bit darker, but it makes it a little bit more glowy. And then that way too I'm not using up my Becca backlight priming filter, and I can use kind of some other primers because I have a ton of primers that I need to either pan or declutter or something. So in this particular picture, it's really hard to kind of see what is actually on her lids because she's got false eyelashes on and they're super thick. I can get a pretty good view of the lower lash line, but not really too much on the lids. And I did have another inspiration picture that you could see her eye makeup a little bit better. For whatever reason, I cannot find it, so I'm kind of going off of memory of that picture. Plus, this is inspired by, so it's not an exact, you know, tutorial step-by-step of exactly what she did. So I'm going to start light and kind of work my way to a little bit deeper colors. But I'm just taking this little Sigma crease brush, and I'm going to take the color Naked from the Naked palette, which is just this light matte color here. And I'm going to kind of work this into the crease and blend up a little bit. This is going to be kind of my transition color from my skin tone to the other colors I'm going to be putting in the crease. And I just always kind of dot the product on in the outer corner, or I don't always do that. It's something I've been doing lately just to get kind of any excess off. And then I start kind of blending up. Someone was saying that you should have your makeup mirror below you so you're looking down into it, but I feel like, well, I guess that kind of helps. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on that. I've been trying it out and it's nice, but it also makes doing my makeup a little bit more of a pain because it's kind of hard for me to have my mirror below me. Plus when it's sitting here, I feel like I get closer to see it and you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit better, even though all I'm doing is just kind of lightly putting Naked in the crease and just kind of building it up and blending it out. So if I remember correctly, the bronze comes most of the way in and then she kind of has gold on the inner third, if I remember correctly. So we're going to kind of start with the bronze. I'm going to go ahead and start with Smog and just kind of work that probably about halfway, and then I'll kind of do some blending between Half Baked, which is the gold color we're using, and Smog, and then we'll do Half Baked on the inner corner. So I'm actually going to kind of start out here a little bit and just kind of lightly pat some on. This shadow always amazes me with how pigmented it is. It always kind of surprises me and catches me off guard. So you can see there it's pretty bronze and pretty pigmented. This is where we're at. You can kind of see I have that inner half, inner third kind of empty with just the eyeshadow base, and then I have a Smog on the outer third or outer half, and I'm going to take Half Baked now and apply that on the inner half. And we're going to kind of have to do some blending here between these two colors to kind of make it a smoother gradient, but I'm just kind of going back and forth a little bit. I'm kind of pulling Smog in a little bit and Half Baked out a little bit, so that way you kind of get a nice transition between the two colors and you don't just have a line, which I kind of feel like is what we got going on right now, at least on this eye. But that's all I'm doing, is just kind of pulling Half Baked over, pulling a little bit of Smog over, and just trying to kind of make the two blend really nicely together. Next I'm going to be taking Smog, which is the other matte shadow in this palette. It's a little bit darker than Naked, but I'm going to be working that into the outer V and crease, just kind of helping create a blend between Naked, which we have as a transition color, and Smog, which is kind of the color we have on the outer half. So I'm just going to kind of take a pencil brush and apply it, and then I'll blend it out with the E25. It's normally what I do. I don't know, I just like the pencil brush for placement, just to make sure I don't get it anywhere that I don't want it to, and then I can kind of blend it out. So I will literally kind of go through and just apply a little V, and then I will let my brush just blend that little V out. The outer V is already a little bit dark just because of Smog, so I'm actually going to take the E25 buck and just kind of bring it up a little bit. I'm just going to bring it slightly outside of the crease, but not too much. So now that most of the lid and crease shadows are on, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of clean up and soften around the edges with my brow highlight. I believe it looks like her brow highlight is a matte, you know, like off-white color. You could use Urban Decay Virgin from the Naked palette, but in my opinion, Virgin's just a little too... it's got a little bit too much of a sheen or shimmer to it, and it's not exactly what I want. So I'm going to take my Lorac Pro 3 palette, and I'm actually going to take the color Blanc down here, which is just a nice, like, pretty much off-white matte color. It's pretty close to white, but it's not exactly white, so it's not crazy bright. But I'm just going to go ahead and kind of work that up under the brow, and like I said, I'm just going to kind of soften the edges and kind of clean up a little bit with it, because I know that sometimes when I do my crease I get a little out of control, and this does kind of help, I don't know, just make it look a lot smoother and kind of brings it down a little bit. Now moving on to the lower lash line, one step that I'm not going to do, but I mean you could do it and I probably would recommend it, is taking a bronze pencil liner, or I guess you could even use a gel liner if you kind of smudge it out a little bit, and just kind of running that along the outer third of the lower lash line. I don't have my bronze eyeliner in here right now, so I'm just going to take Smog on a little pencil brush and just kind of work that on the outer third. But I do normally kind of like that if you apply a pencil there first, it kind of seems like it stays a little bit better, and then you can just kind of set it with Smog, but I don't have mine in here right now and I'm not going to go get it, so... And I guess I'm kind of bringing mine in about halfway instead of sticking to the outer third. But again, I'm going to be kind of blending the gold and the bronzed color together, so I'm just bringing it in a little bit more. Now I'm going to take Half Baked and do that on the, kind of just this little bit right here. I'm not going to go all the way in because I'm putting on an inner corner highlight. So I'm just going to kind of work it just this little bit here. And just kind of trying to blend between Smog and Half Baked. So now onto the inner corner. I believe hers is just kind of a light gold color. Yeah, it looks like it's just a little bit lighter than like Half Baked. I don't know. I don't really have a particular gold color in mind, so this is, I'm just going to use one of my favorite inner corner highlights. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Shadow and Iced Latte. It's just beautiful on the inner corner. It's just very brightening. It is kind of a light gold color, but I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit more champagne than actual gold. I'm going to go ahead and take, this is the Avon, I believe this is just like called the round shadow brush, and just kind of swirl around. And some of these, sometimes I notice I have to kind of dig in there a little bit to get some product, but yeah, this is perfect. Well, perfect for me. I don't know. Like I said, I think hers is a little bit more gold, but this is perfect for me. Again, in my reference picture, I can't tell exactly, but I kind of want to say that she might have a slight like wing liner on the upper lash line. I rarely ever do wing liner. I like it, but I think that sometimes it can be a bit much depending on the look. Like I like small little wings, and I know a lot of people like the very big dramatic wings. But I'm just going to kind of skip that for today, especially because I have to do truck shipment and I'm going to be sweating a lot, and I just don't really trust my liquid liner to stay in place. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in Demolition. It's just a really dark chocolatey brown, and I'm just going to apply that on my upper lash line and in my lower waterline. It's just such a pretty color, and I really love it with like Half Baked and kind of these more like warm gold and bronze looks. It always just looks really nice, and a little bit nicer than doing black. Now onto concealer. I'm going to be taking the Maybelline Master Conceal Camouflaging Concealer. It's been a really long time since I've used this, so I'm just kind of playing with this today. And then I just kind of dampened the tip of my Beauty Blender, and I'm going to use that to blend it out, which is kind of why it's so like weirdly shaped right now, because this part's kind of puffing up because it's wet and the bottom is still kind of dry. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of this with my fingertips and then blend it out with the Beauty Blender. I'm going to go ahead and set that with my NYX Radiant Finishing Powder and the Real Techniques setting brush. I just kind of swirl that around in all of the colors that I can. I don't have a lot of product left, so it is a little bit hard to do that, but just the best I can, and just kind of lightly pat this on just to make sure it's like really set. So Ashley Benson is obviously more tan than me. She kind of has a little bit of a bronze going on, but it's pretty subtle. So I'm going to take my Bare Minerals BareSkin Sheer Sun Serum Bronzer. And I'm just going to do a couple little drops on my, this is like a BH Cosmetics brush. And I'm just going to do 2. Normally I do 3, but because her bronze is really subtle, I kind of want to stick with that. So just kind of do a couple little stippling motions and then just blend it out. And I'll do the same thing for the cheeks, just 2 little drops, and then I'll do that for both sides of my face. Just stipple a tiny bit of the product on, and then I'll kind of move the other side, stipple the rest on, and blend it out. And that just adds a nice little subtle bronze. It's really, really beautiful. I'm obsessed with this bronzer. I did forget to do mascara, so I'm going to go ahead and go back and do that. I'm going to take the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. Obviously she has falsies on in the picture, and they're big, beautiful, voluminous falsies, but again, with me doing truck tonight, I just cannot apply falsies. I mean, I guess I could, but it would be pretty irritating by the end of my shift. So we're just going to go ahead and use this and kind of get some very voluminous lashes. Not probably very long lashes, but at least it'll be pretty voluminous. I have been testing this mascara out, and I originally just really was not a fan of it. I think I mentioned it in an unfavorites part of my last video. Upon playing with it more, I realized that I like it if I go with very light or minimal eyeliner, but if I do kind of thicker or even my normal eyeliner, I just don't like it as much. So something like this where the eyeliner kind of almost blends in with the shadow a little bit and it just offers a slight definition at the lash line, it's kind of something where I like this mascara a little bit more, because the mascara kind of stands out a little bit more. The only thing is, like I've said in my unfavorites video, it's just not lengthening. It adds a ton of volume though. Blush, I'm in a little bit of a debate about what to do, but I think that I've decided I'm going to go ahead and do it with this Milani. This is the powder blush in Blossomtime Rose. This is the one that I talked about in my favorites video. It's kind of NARS Orgasm-ish, and that's a peachy pink, but it's got like gold shimmer in it. However, I believe NARS Orgasm has like chunks of glitter, and this does not. It's just a nice fine shimmer. I'm going to go ahead and use the Real Techniques blush brush just because I feel like I've been kind of going a little overboard with my blush lately, and I feel like this will be just kind of a nice way to apply it a little lighter. Her blush is definitely present in the picture, like you can see it and it's noticeable, but it's not overdone. So I just want to make sure it's there and you can kind of see it, but it's not overdone. So just a nice little flush. For highlight, she just has a really nice, like, luminous, kind of healthy glow. Her skin in general kind of has that, and this blush has a little bit of a sheen to it. Obviously I mixed Opal with the foundation, so we kind of have that going on, but I do want to do a little bit of a highlighter. So I'm going to go ahead and do Colourpop. This is the Super Shock Chic in Lunch Money, which this is my all-time favorite highlighter. I am obsessed with this one. It just feels like butter. And I just apply that to my finger, and then I'll just kind of blend it on top of the cheeks or on top of the cheekbones. So now moving on to lips, and this is kind of the whole thing that inspired the tutorial and the look. She's just got this beautiful, like, rosy, slightly red lip color on, which I'm just in love with and obsessed with. So I kind of was looking through my collection and realized that this lip color for me is, in my opinion, almost an exact dupe to it. However, you can't get it anymore, which does kind of suck. This is the Bite Luminous Cream Lipstick in Rosé. This is like one of my all-time favorite colors, and I'm really sad that they don't make this anymore, but as you can see, it is just a beautiful rosy red color. I apologize for the scooter outside. We have some neighbors, and I swear they have like every vehicle known to man, and they drive it as fast and as loud as they can up and down the street. But besides that, I'm going to go ahead and apply this. You could use a lip liner. I mean, I probably would recommend it, I guess, especially because these lipsticks to me are not terribly long lasting, but I love the color of this one so much that most of the time I don't, because I don't want to alter the color in any way. So now that I've done the finishing touches, my little final dusting of powder, my setting spray, the look is finished. I'm obsessed with it. The only thing I wish I would have done a little bit differently is I wish I wouldn't have blended so much up into the crease. I wish I would have kept it a little tighter and a little closer to the lid. Just because even though, like I said, I can't really see her eye makeup too much in this, if I remember correctly, they don't blow out the crease a whole lot, kind of like I feel like I did. But it's beautiful. It's stunning nonetheless. It's beautiful colors. I love the color of the lip with the eyeshadows. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!